Welcome back to the LFCMD. This is your Liverpool versus RB Leipzig Champions League preview. We're going to break this preview down into 5 things. Firstly, the form of both teams going into this game. Secondly, a Liverpool injury update. Thirdly, the different areas in which the game can be won or lost. Fourthly, my predicted Liverpool starting 11. And then finally, I'm going to give you my score prediction, and you're not going to be surprised to find out it's going to be a Liverpool win for me. So let's look at the form of both teams in the Champions League going into this game. Now for Liverpool under Arne Slot, we've won both our Champions League games against Italian competition. We won the first one against Inter Milan. That was a 3-1 win for Liverpool. We won 2-0 against Bologna, and in both games we only conceded just 1 goal. So for Liverpool in the Champions League, as it has been as well in the Premier League, it's just been about defensive solidity and the quality sparkling going forward. Now for RB Leipzig, if you look at the Champions League form alone, you're gonna think it's gonna be an easy game for Liverpool, but you might be mistaken. So they lost their game against Atletico Madrid. They lost also their game against Juventus, but Juventus also had a red card in that game. So that was a bit of a weird win, and it showed the quality of Juventus rather than showing how poor RB Leipzig were in that game. So in the Champions League form guide, Liverpool is looking much in better form going into this game, but we shouldn't disregard the fact that RB Leipzig has also been doing quite well in the Bundesliga, and I think they're second in the Bundesliga table as it stands right now. Now going into this game, Liverpool is going to be missing some of their key players. We're going to be missing my favorite finisher at Liverpool, Diogo Jota, with the injury he sustained against Chelsea on Sunday. We're going to be missing Alisson still. He hasn't recovered. We're also going to be missing Harvey Elliott still. We're missing Conor Bradley, who was out on sickness. Arne Slot has confirmed that he's still missing. And we're also going to be missing Federico Chiesa. Now with Chiesa, it's a bit of a weird situation. Arne Slot didn't quite really say whether he was still missing because of the injury itself or just because he hasn't quite well acclimatized to the style of play and the intensity that they need him to be at for playing in the Premier League. He spoke a lot about intensity, so I think it's just an intensity issue and not just wanting to rush him back quickly. So I think this game is going to be won or lost in how well either team is going to defend their half spaces. So if you look at both teams, especially if you look at RB Leipzig, all of their 3 attackers thrive on playing in the half spaces. So the half spaces are the spaces between the center backs and the full backs. If you look at Xavi Simons, he likes to play short, integrate passes in those half spaces to create space and pull off shots. So we're gonna need to be quite compact and make sure that the communication between the center backs and the full backs stays on point throughout the game. We're gonna need full concentration throughout the game to defend against Xavi Simons. Somewhat in a similar fashion to how we defended against Cole Palmer. He's a similar type of number 10, maybe not as effective as Cole Palmer in current form, but similar in terms of the integrate play that they like to create in those half spaces around the box. If you look at Benjamin Sesko, I would say he likes to run in behind where there's space. He's also quite good in finishing, even though in some games you see him pull off erratic finishes, but he's quite good in finishing and he's not afraid to run in behind and stretch the defense. So we're gonna need to have some pace, or we're gonna need to play quite compact, but also in a way that our defense and our midfield has very good communication. So we're going to need a lot of defensive awareness in our midfield, and you'll see how I prevent some of these problems in my predicted starting 11. And another player that we need to look out for from RB Leipzig is Openda. Openda likes to take the long shot. He's very trigger happy. He's not afraid to take on shots, and he can be quite dangerous in and around the edge of the box, taking shots and causing problems, testing the keeper, especially because we're not going to be having Alisson. So I think he's going to want to test the keeper quite early on. But I think for all three players, if we stay compact, if we have good communication between the defense and the midfield, we're going to be quite well in preventing RB Leipzig from causing us too many problems. And going forward for Liverpool, RB Leipzig defense have quite a lot of pace. So we're going to need quite a lot of pace ourselves, but we're going to need also integrate play, and we're going to need quite a lot of dribbling, because some of these tall, pacey defenders are not very good against the low center of gravity players like Luis Diaz, who can dribble and cause them problems in such a way. And I think we can also take advantage of Mohamed Salah and the creative ability that we've seen him create for Liverpool in recent games. And this is my predicted starting 11 for Liverpool. I think Kelleher is going to be in goal. I think Trent is going to be playing. We're going to have Virgil and Konate as the defensive partnership. We're going to have Robertson playing. I think McAllister is going to come in for Jones. I think Jones is going to be on the bench for this one. And we're going to have Gravenberch. And we're going to have Szoboszlai coming in on the 10. I think mainly for his pressing, we're going to have him on the 10. And I think McAllister comes in for Jones because of the defensive awareness that we're going to need in helping out the defense, especially in those half spaces, and making sure that he's breaking things down when Gravenberch is going forward. While Jones was good on the weekend, I think we're going to need a bit more maturity, a bit more awareness in McAllister than we can get from Jones. But I would not be surprised to see Jones starting as a reward from the great performance that he pulled off against Chelsea. And I think in attack, that's where we're going to have our changes, because Diogo Jota is out. We're going to have Darwin Núñez stretching their defenses and making those runs in behind, as Lepzig sometimes plays a high line, so it's good to have Darwin Núñez stretching that high line and testing them constantly and pulling off shots as well, because I've seen that defenses are a bit error prone in some games. And we're going to have Mohamed Salah running down the right wing. I think it's just a no-brainer. If you're looking for goals and creativity this season, Mo Salah has delivered both. And the one change that we have in the forward position from Sunday is that Luis Diaz is going to start, in my opinion. I think Arne Slot was resting the South American boys because of their delay in coming back from the international break. But I think in this game, Luis Diaz is just perfect for this game. And maybe as the game progresses, you bring in Cody Gakpo to change things up and get a bit more different performance down that left wing. Unlike many of the other pundits that have been talking about this game, I don't think it's going to be an easy game for Liverpool, and that's why I'm not making, in my predicted 11, too many changes from Liverpool's strongest 11. And I think Liverpool are going to win this game just 2-1 away from home, and I'm gonna be very happy. Thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, and stay tuned for the post-match discussion and the preview for the Arsenal game on Sunday.